Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, and hitting you with the double upload today technically because the first one that I uploaded was at 2 in the morning. But yeah, here we are with another episode of Road to 1000 DuelingBook rating. As you can probably tell, I got sleep, so I'm much more energized now. But anyways, I asked you guys on the community tab poll which matchup you guys wanted to see, and between the True King Dinosaur matchup and the Altergeist matchup, this one won a lot more handily, which is the True King Dino matchup. I went back and I looked at the matchup versus the Shaddoll Invoked guy, and it ended up actually not being a very good match in general. So what I'm going to do is actually showcase two matches in one video because both of them have like a couple of key things that I think are, interesting or good takeaways while not being amazing matches themselves. So apologize if like the matches aren't like the highest quality, but these were like some of the better ones that I could find, honestly, because like the way that Dino goes sometimes in DuelingBook grading is just like somebody just instantly quits. Like if they see a conductor about to ruin their board. But basically that's just how that goes sometimes. But anyways, so we're gonna go first. These are actually both different Shaddoll variants. The first one is Invoked Shaddoll, and then the second one is Shaddoll Orcust. You don't really get to see the Shaddoll stuff at all in the Invoked Shaddoll one, so that's why I'm like, why did I even like think this was a good replay when I was looking at it last night? But apparently I thought it was good, but it ended up not being that great. But I'm gonna showcase it off anyway because he did draw a myriad of hand traps, as you can see. So there is actually still some merit to showcasing this because there is, a reasonable amount of hate to play through. So he goes first and he just sets Call by the Grave and passes. I'm not sure why he doesn't make a Makaba here. Maybe he wasn't playing like not Gravity Controller, but what's the guy called? Secure Gardener to be able to make Makaba. But who knows? In either case, he just passes on a Call by the Grave. Also, maybe he wants just to have his Gamma alive too. But yeah, we draw pretty well. We don't have like the most amazing hand, but we do have enough to play with. So we're going to go ahead and activate Lost World and then activate our Lithosogem, which in theory will allow us to trigger off the Lost World as well as, or the baby, and then follow that up with a Lost World play with Overraptor and stuff. That actually gets met with a Cypher Gear Gamma, so that kind of ruins that plan. It kind of defers me back to just trying to rely on like standard Lost World stuff. It does open the window for me to summon this Pankratops, so I will go ahead and do that. And that also does trigger off Lost World too. So that's pretty good for me. I go ahead and end main phase 1 so I can attack into the token and then use the Lost World to protect it. And then Baby can go ahead and summon Overraptor. He can't Call by the Grave here because it is during damage step. So Overraptor will allow me to search for a Conductor Tyranno, which arguably could have been a Giant Rex Send. That way I could like get a little bit more value, but having the Conductor also just ensures me that like he can't really make a board. Keep in mind I don't really know what I'm up against like as I'm playing in real time, so it's kind of hard to gauge what board I should be ideally ending on, but like I figure it's fine. So I just go ahead and attack into the token. Alright, so main phase 2, sorry, I had to skip ahead a little bit because I explained something incorrectly the first time I tried to take this. So, I normally summon Baby Ceratosaurus here in main phase 2, and then I use Overraptor, declaring that I'm targeting the Baby Ceratosaurus to try and destroy it and then revive a Dino from grave. He chains his Call by the Grave here, which is obviously bad for me because that means that the baby I'm about to destroy won't trigger, but I actually resolved this incorrectly. So, generally, like my thought process is, oh yeah, you can't activate Overraptor if you don't have a legal Dino target in grave, so like nothing would happen. So like for some reason I didn't revive the same baby because like you have to resolve as much as you can. So like even though the initial like dinosaur that was in the graveyard left the grave, like it doesn't have to revive specifically that dinosaur monster. It's kind of like the same thing with like Dagusto Emerald. If you have 3 monsters in graveyard, you don't have to specifically shovel those 3 back. You can like shovel back 2 of them, and then the third monster could be the material that you detach. So I don't know why I didn't like fully resolve the Overraptor. This baby should actually be on field. I just said when triggering grave. But yeah, regardless, we're just gonna carry on here. Miscellaneousaurus will activate, and then he's gonna use DD Crow on the Miscellaneousaurus. Which definitely is unfortunate for me. That's fine. I just go ahead and pass with the Pankratops. I figured that like if he passed, he wouldn't have had that strong of a play anyway. So I could have like made a bit of a play where I like if I had this babysitter source on field like I was supposed to, then I could like make maybe an IP or something, and then like make a conductor or summon conductor, and then that should be like an okay play. But it didn't happen, so we're not gonna stress too much about it because accepted game state. Am I right? So, anyways, he is going to pick up a damage juggler for turn, which doesn't really do a whole lot for him. So he's going to use Alistair. He gets him a light, which is fine, but he already had... Oh, wait, no, the Cyframes got banished. Never mind. Alright, so actually, that did matter. So, yeah, he's going to use Alistair to pick up the Invocation, and he will go ahead and summon the Trick Clown, and then make a copy of Cross Sheep, and then activate Invocation. He's going to use a Damage Juggler from his hand and the Alistair in his grave to make a Macabre. He's going to trigger Cross Sheep, and he'll then use the Invocation effect in grave, Twitch all Chain Pankratops to pop this Macabre because he has no cards in his hand, so he can't like do anything about it. So like that's totally fine. Like at this point, he doesn't really have like really that good of a board. He banishes the Damage Juggler to get a Trick Clown to his hand, and then he'll convert his 2 monsters into a Phoenix to kill Lost World. I'm not sure why he didn't use Trick Clown here. Like he could have also just beaten over the Oviraptor too. So like he could have done a number of things there. But instead, I top deck another copy of Lost World, which is really good for me. I can banish 2 because Pankratops being engraved counts as the second Dino I need for the Conductor. So I can summon Conductor and summon the token. I was trying to think if I could game him here, and I think at the time I thought I couldn't, and I still don't really think I could. So yeah, I just go ahead and enter the battle phase. I tag in the token, use Lost World to protect, then use Baby to bring out a Petite, and then just clear the board with the Conductor Tyranno. So now at this point, I am definitely trying to set up a much larger board. So I use Oviraptor to pop the Petite, to summon the Baby back. Petite will trigger to summon another Oviraptor, which can use its effect to search a Miscellaneous Source. Then I can activate Miscellaneous Source after I go into IP, which will allow me to make or summon a Giant Rex, just as another 4. So I make a Dolka here, and I also hard summon Quatless by shuffling back 5. You don't see that every day. So here I have 2 monster negates and a Quatless and a Conductor and an IP. So he is most certainly not going to be able to play through this, and he just scoops. So game 2 is also kind of weird. So he makes me go first, and I open up with evenly, which I wasn't entirely sure if he was going to make me go first or not, so I just kept it in. But we have Diagram Baby, so that's pretty good. So Extravagance will grab us another copy of Baby and a Dogoron. Yeah, so the only play really is Diagram Baby, so I have to kind of go for it. That gets me the Agnimazud, and then Baby will activate. He lets that go through, and then I'll activate the Oviraptor. He also allows that to resolve. I think he was just trying to like play around Miscellaneous Source with the Oviraptor, but maybe he could have just also gammed the Baby effect engrave, and that also would have been fine. But yeah, I normal summon the Baby. He also lets the Oviraptor go here, because like now he knows I have Miscellaneous Source, so he definitely can't really use it now. So Baby will trigger, summoning another Baby. I'll go ahead and activate the Earth True King. He goes and gammas it, which he kind of has to, because ripping through from extra deck is too powerful. But I have the Fire True King that he saw me search anyway off the diagram, so I think if he had gamma'd the initial Baby, that would have been a lot better for him. But yeah, Baby triggers, and he decides he just doesn't want to play it out, which is why I'm like, wow, this replay was a lot worse than I remembered. But luckily, we have another replay that is kind of worth showcasing off, so we'll go ahead and go into that one. So this is against Shaddoll Orcust, which is kind of interesting, and you will actually get to see the Orcust side of things, especially in this game 1 here. So he opens up a pretty powerful hand. He has Armageddon Knight, which gets access to both of his both of his engines, I should say, and he has Return to pitch Nightmare, which you already drew. So he's gonna get through a lot of cards here. So Armageddon Knight will dump a copy of Hedgehog to grab Wendy, and then he'll use his Return to pitch the Nightmare to draw Symbol and Rhoda, which aren't really the most alive cards, but it's follow-up plays because he can just search Gruffer and keep going next turn. he can use the Shaddoll fusion to make an Opgalone with the Beast and the Wendy. Beast will draw him a copy of Allure, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And then his Wendy will summon a copy of Ariel. So he's going to do the standard play where you go Cross Sheep, and then you get the Shaddoll Incarnation Engrave, so you can add it and then pitch it off the Opgalone. And then he can banish the Shaddoll with a fusion to flip up the area and summon the fusion back, and then trigger the sheep. In this case, it gets back Armageddon Knight, which is pretty broken. So Armageddon Knight will send a copy of World Wand. So he has Nightmare and Wand already, and he has Symbol in hand too. He's going to overlay for an Abyss Blower, which he found space for, and he is going to then banish the Nightmare for a copy of Symbol. Wand will bring back the Nightmare, and then he'll make Galatea with the Nightmare and the sheep. Galatea will recycle Wand to grab himself a Babel, and then he'll use Allure first to get rid of the Symbol, and now overlay for Dingirsu to reattach the Symbol. So like I think in his mind that's what he was going to do this whole time, just to attach, so he wouldn't have to like use Symbol earlier. So what he does here is he uses the Ding and the Opgalone for an IP. I think a cool play he could have done was he could have used the Symbol to bring back something, and then make you could have made IP with like the Ding and like whatever he brought up back, as long as it wasn't Galatea. You could have left the Opgalone on the field, so that like if he goes IP link away with Opgalone, then Opgalone can get him another like search and another trigger of a Shaddoll, which would be good against like a trap deck. Like you can search Dragon, pitch it, and then pop a card. Good against like Pendulum too. There's like interesting interactions you can do with that. So I think that there's definitely room for experimentation if you want to like try out a build with like Shaddolls plus a way to get IP like consistently, which Orcust is very good at doing, obviously. So he's gonna go ahead and pass on that. He's gonna end phase Symbol for Galatea, which is also fine because it allows him to just continually generate resources and recycling and stuff. We draw into the Evenly, which is really good. We draw the Conductor, I'm sorry. We had the Evenly in hand. But yeah, we had Conductor, which is alright. Like, we need this Extravagant to actually get into something playable because our hand is pretty much a brick. So we've draw 2 off the top, and he's going to chain Galatea to recycle the Symbol to grab a Crescendo, which is fine with me because that just means that Evenly will banish another card. So we draw into a Lost World Own Overraptor, which is some of the best cards I could have asked for, to be honest, in this case. So we're going to enter the battle phase. When I declare leaving main phase 1, he will use the IP and Chain Dweller, so he'll go into a Longyearsu, probably expecting the Evenly at this point. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and fire it off. He uses Nightmare to send Gizmek. I guess he's doing it now because like maybe he was afraid that there wouldn't be a monster, so he wouldn't be able to like use Nightmare later. But then again, he's keeping the Babel anyway, so like he could have just waited on it. I don't think it was like essential to get Gizmek here, especially because I'm not killing him this turn, obviously. So like he didn't actually need it for like to prevent him from dying or anything. But yeah, we are going to activate Lost World, and he will use I'll use the Overraptor. So over Chainlink 1, Lost World Chainlink 2 to grab myself a token and send a copy of Giant Rex. Because I'm under Dweller, I'm not really too bothered by trying to like use Overraptor to like pop this token and then protect it with Lost World and like send babies, because that just doesn't do anything. Same deal with like Miscellaneous Source. So like my only objective right now is just to try and get Conductor Tyranno to be online and then summon Giant Rex and make a rank 4. So rank 4 plus Conductor with a baby in hand is pretty good setup, considering how suboptimal the hand was and that I am under Dweller here. But on Resolution, he is going to use Dingirsu anyways, and he's declaring he's using the effect. Before I get a chance to respond, he clicks on the Overraptor, but I'm like, no, I'm going to chain Miscellaneous Source. And he says, well, if you're sending or if you're using Miscellaneous Source, I'll just send a Field Spell. And I'm like, alright, that's fine. So yeah, the Field Spell is gone now, which again, I wasn't really trying to make use of anyway, because, Baby doesn't do anything under Dweller. Oops, so I will banish, yeah, I think I used Miscellaneous Source at I used it earlier in that chain, right? So I'll just banish 2 for Conductor and then bring back the Rex, which allows me to go into a copy of Dulka. So this is good because I know he has Orcust follow-up to some degree. Like, it's not the greatest right now, But like he could theoretically just normal summon anything, go into Galatea, recycle something back, summon Ding, attach something, and then just continue off from there. He also has like miscellaneous Shaddoll cards that he could use. Like I don't really know what's in his hand right now because he drew so much. So like we're kind of just playing assuming he's going to like rely on his monsters to try and push past my board, which this board is very, very good at answering. So he picks up this Squamata for turn, and he's just going to use a Rota to pick up a Dark Grepher. And then special the Dark Grepher by sending the World Wand to grave. And then he's going to use the Grepher effect by discarding the Squamata. I'll use the Dolka to negate it. Because at this point, I'm like, his graveyard's actually not super loaded apart from the wand they just managed to send. But like, I can negate it and it's fine. Like, that's kind of like my thought process, because like his Shaddoll plays aren't really actually that strong, like unless if he actually like drew Shaddoll Fusion, and like he doesn't really have that many Orcust plays going on, like unless that this wand resolves. So like in my mind that should be pretty good for me. So I'm gonna just go ahead and negate the wand with Dolka again. And then when he normal summons Wendy here, I definitely should have just used Conductor to flip everything face down. Because, like, again, the only way he's really getting back in is if he recycles his Orcust engine, which he can do right now, but, like, if I book it, then he can't really do anything. Like, the best he can do is summon a Gizmek, and then, like, he doesn't really have anything else, like, because Gizmek plus token doesn't do anything, because he already used IP, he can't make Galatea with that, he can't make, like, anything, like, actually relevant. So, booking with Conductor was absolutely the right play, but I don't know, I just, like, want to see where his play was going. But he goes into Galatea, which, you know, should have been expected, to be honest. I was talking about it this whole time. He recycles wand and grabs the return. Now he used Gizmek to banish the top 8, summon itself, and then here at this point is where I realize he doesn't play a second copy of Ding because he's thinking a long time, and then he ends up using the return. So I kind of got lucky on that part, because like him summoning Ding would have been very bad if he wanted to like send part of my board away, because like my board isn't the greatest. Like it actually is lacking some form of like follow-up, unless if like I actually successfully able to resolve Conductor pitch to pop a baby, which granted like he didn't really have a good way to stop that, but still, like if I had just booked when he summoned when he normal summoned the Wendy, then the game would not have gotten to this point. Plus, I just obviously cleared everything, but he draws into 2 cards that don't do anything right now because they already normal summoned. So he knows that we can't really play through the sub that I have, and he just ends up conceding. So, game number 2, he allows us to go first because we are on Dinosaur. So our hand's very weak here. It's kind of just up to Extravagance again to try and draw us out of it. But this time it doesn't. So we just see an overabundance of side cards. I keep in Cosmic. I think I only have 1 copy in here, just because like I never want to play a deck or play with like a deck that doesn't have an out to Mystic Mine. I'm pretty sure this is like the lone copy of Cyclone that I kept in just specifically for mine, because obviously Cyclone is not good in this matchup, but it can actually hit Babel too, which I guess is like somewhat relevant here, but generally speaking against Shaddoll it's not good. But we also draw Scythe, which is like completely dead, so we are able to maybe stop him, but like we need to find something really, really good next turn in order to actually play ourselves. So he draws another copy of Squamata, so like his hand's pretty good, but I do have Different Dimension Ground, which kind of halters a lot of his momentum. So he makes a construct, and he isn't able to like trigger any of his fusion material effects, but he is able to send a trap with construct, which is good because like in theory what he could do is he could banish any Shaddoll card with the rest Shaddoll graveyard effect, and then flip up say like a Squamata, and then like pop a card in the field or pop a monster. But he ends up just not setting the Squamata. He just attacks with construct and ends up passing. I think maybe his thought process was just like, oh, the Armageddon Knight's dead because of DD ground, so just not even gonna bother committing and just pass. But like he would have at least had 1 interruption this way, you know. Granted, I did have Miscellaneous Source, so it would have been hard for him to like actually threaten, you know, the cards that I had, but he could have like done this in battle phase if he wanted to. But I pick up a Set Rotation, which is extremely good because it allows me to go Diagram plus Petite, which is like just really, really insane. So As soon as I pop the petite, he doesn't even wait for me to search. He just knows that the writing's on the wall, given the fact that he just doesn't have any interruptions with his particular setup. So yeah, these matchups were not maybe the best games I've ever showcased on the channel, but there's at least something to take away from them, and I hope you guys still enjoyed regardless. I apologize that you know, like, the series has kind of again been kind of sporadic is the word I'm looking for, but definitely next format you will see a lot more consistency, and hopefully like the games that I'll showcase will also be consistently decent quality. I can't guarantee that because, you know, it's just kind of up to what DuelingBook decides to pit me up against and how well I play, how well other players play. So again, it's not meant to be a perfect representation of like optimal gameplay all the time. I think equally as important as the perfect gameplay is you know, imperfect gameplay, misplays, things you could do better, things even when you're winning, like things that you can do more ideally. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comment section down below. Feel free to subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on Discord, Twitter, or Twitch. All 3 links in the description as always. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.